In this video, I just want to introduce the new V6 ordering sheet and just explain some of its new features. So you'll find the V6 in V3 Cupcake Ordering, V6, and you'll find your store order sheet. And for this demo, I'll be using Blackfriars. This is my first video demo. One of the first tabs you can see is order type, and this essentially explains when product will be coming into your store. So take Valentine's as an example. Valentine's, we've got some product coming on the 12th, some on the 13th, and some on the 14th, and it shows you entry, middle, peak. An entry, middle, peak are the strength of product, which you'll be able to adjust, and we'll go through that in a moment. Something like Mother's Day, we've got coming in on the 9th and leaving on the 11th, so there will be products still on the 11th, and on the 12th there'll be no product. So order type helps you understand what product is coming in and when. If we move on, we've got a sheet here called Place Your Order. This sheet tells you on what date, what kind of order is coming through. So as we saw on the previous page, on the 12th is Valentine's entry, 13th is Valentine's mid, and so on. So as you scroll through the list, you'll be able to see what kind of product you're getting on what day. And once we start to put some figures in, you'll see how much product is coming through. On the cupcakes page, it may look very scary, but I'll just scroll to the very left-hand side and I'll just make things a little bit bigger and a bit more manageable for us. The main place you'll ever make changes is on this default order column here. By entering it in numbers, you'll amend the percentage, which will be the strength of the product within all the products that you order. So for example, at the moment we've got the number 70 inputted, which is red velvet, and that's giving us 5%, which means that 5% of the stock on any given day will be red velvet. I can manipulate the number to 100, it's changing it to 7%, and you'll see that other numbers drop and other percentages change. In the same way, if I bring this to 50, again you can see that other percentages change. I'll bring that back to 70, so Blackfriars don't tell me off. So this column here allows you to edit the products coming into your store and how much of that product comes in compared to everything else. The black areas show you areas that you can't adjust, and certainly by adjusting this you'll be amending every single day. So just amending this column here allows you to adjust the product for the entire year. If you've got too much chocolate and raspberry at the end of the day, and that's a repetitive thing that keeps happening, again you can just reduce the number here and you'll see that percentage drop down. Don't worry if you take chocolate and raspberry from 6 to 5 and it still says 1%. If you expand this here, you'll see that actually the numbers really are changing. So we've now talked about how to adjust on a daily basis the product coming in. But what happens on seasonal events? On the top here you've got all the seasonal events throughout the year, and you'll be able to adjust how much product comes in on those events. There's a little nifty summary at the top here which tells you target for tiny and target for regular. This is my suggestion to you of how much product you should have coming in within those product sizes. Currently the actual shows you what the ordering sheet is set to, and it's your job to ensure that this box here looks green, and I'll show you how. So my Valentine's entry, which is on the 12th of February, is currently set at target 20%, actual 14.9%. As I scroll down, I'll find these blue boxes that are highlighted. This shows where the product is that you can amend. To increase tiny, and we want to grow from 7% to 10%, I'd simply manipulate the figures here. I'll just try 80 to start with. We're almost there. I'll try 85, see if it pushes us over. Perfect. 10%, 10%, perfect. Now let's adjust the regulars. So I found my regular products here. Just change this to 45. Almost there. We'll just go down and adjust the personalized. And lastly, if we wanted to, we could add some gift boxes here. Let's finally just pump these regular numbers. And there you have it. That's how you adjust your order for seasonal times of the year. It's certainly worth going through and making sure that all of these boxes are green, or that you're happy with exactly what's coming. If in previous years, Mother's Day, you didn't have enough product, go ahead and increase the actual well above what my suggestion is and my target. But in this column here, find the blue box, adjust the figures, and you will be able to adjust what's coming into your store. If I keep scrolling right to the end of all the seasonal events, I get to a section here with dates. Dates all the way along. If you're looking to see how much of a specific product, for example vanilla with green and green pearls, is coming in on each respective day, Simply find this sheet and you will find a value. We'll come back to this when we input some orders and order values in a moment. On the cakes tab, I'll just zoom in so it's not so small. You'll find all of the cakes that you have and the 7 days of the week. Simply input a number to receive a cake on a specific day. For every Sunday going forward, I will now receive one of these week-free chocolate 9-inch layer cakes. I can see the value of the order is there, and we'll leave that in so we can refer back to it in a moment. Daily items are things such as your flat ice cupcakes, icing bags and swirls, naked cupcakes and brownies. Simply put numbers in for the value of products that you want. You can see the actual financial value that gets totted up here. So most days we've got brownies coming in to a value of 35.75. If I want to amend, I simply adjust the figure and it will amend the value. I'll just bring that back to where it was. Let's look at one of the new features on the V6 ordering sheet. That's the wastage tracker. Wastage has become a really serious and important issue for us to deal with, not only because we have a responsibility to the environment, but also because it costs us an absolute fortune. I've built the wastage tracker so for those stores that find it more difficult to control their wastage, they can start to input the wastage figures each night and start to see a pattern. So for example, in February, I could say day 1 our wastage was 15%, day 2 it was 20%, day 3 it was 30%, day 4 and all of a sudden I start to see a graph appear. I've got a yearly graph which shows me my target waste and my actual waste, and then I've also got a graph that's populating itself down here which I can use for further reporting. If I start to get my waste well in line, we'll see that line drop well below. You can manipulate your wastage target on the left hand side here. So if I raise it to 10%, if I raise it to 20%, you can see that I start to fall well within my target. To find out your wastage target, please speak to your area manager. So that's the wastage tracker sheet. By no means do you have to complete it, but it's there to help you. It's there to give you a really nice visual gauge of how you're doing, what your wastage target is, and whether you're falling within that. There's also a little summary table here that will help you see your average going forward. Let's just clear these. Okay. I'll now introduce what I believe to be the most important change within the V6 ordering system.